Good morning. Welcome to Herd Immunity. I'm Dr. Ruddy. You know by now, wisdom is your best defense. Let's talk about what's happening with the fully vaccinated patients who are coming down with COVID. This is referred to as breakthrough cases. These patients have been vaccinated. They were given to understand that they would be 95% protected from COVID. And in fact, based on the Israeli data recently, there's only a 39% protection. There are reports that the majority of patients who are coming down with COVID in this country, who are hospitalized, have been vaccinated. We're waiting for confirmation. That looks like something that may be, in fact, true. So while we're waiting for confirmation of these data, let's try and understand why patients who are fully vaccinated might succumb to infection and disease related to the Delta variant, which is the predominant variant at the present time. Why would that be true? There is a hypothesis. You remember I did a video probably 2 weeks ago about antibody-dependent enhancement, ADE. You might want to watch that video again, but let me just quickly summarize that concept for you. ADE, antibody-dependent enhancement, is a situation in which you've been exposed to the virus, SARS, okay, you've been exposed to the virus, although we know that this has happened with other viruses, all of the other viruses related to SARS, so SARS, MERS. Now we're talking about SARS CoV-2. It certainly has happened with dengue virus. You're exposed to the virus, your immune system develops antibodies. And by and large, those antibodies win the war against the invader, the SARS CoV-2 virus. There are two types of antibodies that are made. One are the big, strong SEAL Team 6, Black Hawk antibodies. They know how to find that guy and take him out. There are additional antibodies that are made, which I described in my prior video as the militia. They're sort of like the well-intentioned but weak antibodies. They're not capable of doing the job. They show up and they try and do a little bit of the work. You know, they're not the frontline guys. Okay. Let's say you're exposed to the virus again. The SEAL Team 6 guys get in the Black Hawks. They go out for the big fight. The little guys, the flimsy antibodies, the militia, they show up. They show up in large numbers. It looks like somebody kicked over an anthill, okay? And you've got the little guys everywhere, but this time, inadvertently, they're well-intentioned, but inadvertently, they're showing the virus through the door. Welcome. Have a seat. What can we get you to eat? So you have all of these flimsy antibodies, secondary antibodies, that are actually facilitating the infection in a very big way because you are exposed to your second encounter with SARS virus, and all of a sudden, all the little guys are like showing them in the door. They get inside, they start replicating, they bust out, okay? And they go to the adjacent cells and they start replicating. In the meantime, the little flimsy military, militia guys, they're showing them into the door as well. So you see you have this positive feedback loop, an overwhelming surge of the replication of viral particles and spike protein, our favorite bad guy, okay, because the spike protein is the guy that does all the bad things, okay? Antibody-dependent enhancement, okay? Think of it as flimsy antibody-dependent enhancement, ADE. The question that I put forth on the table here is not just a wild conjecture, but it's based on good scientific data because we have seen ADE in multiple experiments with animals who were exposed to a vaccine and then challenged with the virus. We know that there are animals, in fact, there are patients who were vaccinated with dengue, who when they bumped into dengue again, whoa, ADE, really sick, okay? So ADE is a hazard, a known hazard of SARS vaccination and MERS vaccination in animal studies. Because they never made it at animal studies, no one even dared to say, oh, let's try some humans. The animals didn't do very, very well, but perhaps the humans would do better. No, that's not how it works. Animals don't do well, and you stop. So we have a situation now where we have fully vaccinated patients against SARS CoV-2 who are becoming ill, and in some reports seem to be at higher risk of becoming ill than the unvaccinated. Is this breakthrough in terms of vaccine breakthrough, or is this ADE? That's a question that needs to be put on the table right now and needs to be addressed and answered, and it can be. There are ways in which you can do blood tests and you'll be able to compare the profile of the kinds of blood cells that are circulating in the body of someone who's experienced an ADE compared to someone who is just battling COVID and is not experiencing ADE. The blood cells that come out for those two different types of parties, shall we say, are different. We should be able to assess that, provided we have it as a hypothesis and a question, and courageous doctors once again are able and willing to step to the plate and swing at the ball and find out, is this ADE or is this a failure of the vaccines to protect against COVID? If it's a failure, okay, fine, we can live with failure, you know. You try something that doesn't work, try something else. I would just say, parenthetically, if the vaccine is not working, then it's not a dosing problem, okay? You don't just keep giving more of the thing that doesn't work. Is this a failure of the vaccine? And that's why we have these breakthrough cases? Or is this a consequence of the vaccine such that what we are seeing is ADE? And now you know what ADE is. Go forth and share this information with others, because I think we all can understand very simply what these questions are and that they need to be asked and answered. Until then, remember, the two best medicines are love and mercy. God bless.